My friends, check out HomeTitleLock.com. You may have heard of this. It's a scam where they try and rip you off. And I was talking to Allison about it, and I was like, is this for real? Like, and she was like, yeah, actually, I think we've heard some stories of this had happened because people don't really check this stuff once the paperwork's filed. So we got something for you. You guys have heard about this? We just mentioned it. The FBI is calling this house stealing. It's real. It's becoming more common. People don't even think about checking their title to their home or investment properties. And it's exactly what scammers are counting on. So in today's economy, you got to stay vigilant and protect what may be your most valuable financial asset. And this is legit. This is how generational wealth is transferred. It's your home. So here's how it works. A scammer will file a quitclaim deed using your information, forging your signature, stamping it with a phony notary seal, filing it with the county. And just like that, your property isn't legally yours anymore. They're not interested in your home. They're after the equity. They'll take out loans using your property as collateral, then disappear, leaving you to deal with the financial and legal fallout. So I think this is pretty serious. I think you guys should take it serious. So check out Home Title Lock. They monitor your title 24/7. They alert you to any changes on your title, and they work fast to restore your title with no out-of-pocket costs if fraud does occur. So don't wait until it's too late. You can get a free 30-day trial, free title history report when you use the promo code TIM at HomeTitleLock.com, or use the link in the description below. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code TIM for 30 days of protection and a title report for free. Here we go. We got the story from the Post-Millennial. Manifesto of United Healthcare CEO murder suspect released. So normally, I got to tell you, I actually don't like showing the pictures, the names, and the manifestos of these people who do these things, because that was what they're trying to do. This dude clearly was trying to get his name out there, get attention, and push this cause. So during the police transfer earlier, he was screaming leftist garbled nonsense about his lived experience. I am not exaggerating. We'll talk about it in a second. But considering the ubiquity of this guy's profile and what he represents, it's now it's not something you can ignore. In a lot of these circumstances, the media might say like, hey, look, we don't want to give this person attention who's trying to get it. Everybody and their grandmother is trying to give this guy attention. The left is cheering for him. So I think it would be prudent to actually look at what his motivations are so we can rip them to shreds. Because if we don't, the left is sharing the manifesto. They're talking about wanting to have adult relations with him, and they're cheering for him, but the guy's a moron. Now, look, I completely disagree with, I don't know, like murdering a dad in cold blood in the middle of the street. I just think that's wrong. Forgive me. The left seems to be for it. But when you actually read the guy's manifesto, I was dumbfounded at how stupid he is. And again, I want to stress, I'm not saying that out of emotion. I am not saying that because I disagree with him and I think he's a bad guy. No, I think he's a bad guy, and I think he's I disagree with his political views. But holy crap, his manifesto articulates nothing. He correlates things that don't make sense and then literally says, I can't articulate this. Other people will have to. And it's like, so you're a crazy moron. I think it's important people know this so we can mock these leftists who would cheer for someone this dumb. The Post-Millennial says, the alleged handwritten manifesto of the suspect in the assassination-style shooting of CEO Brian Thompson has been obtained and published by Ken Klippenstein. Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, PA on Monday and was found with a 3D-printed gun, ammunition, and fake IDs. Mangione, per Klippenstein, who also published the mugshot, said he wasn't working with anyone. The parasites had it coming. He references the American healthcare system comprised primarily of private insurance companies, saying that it is the most expensive in the world, but that American life expectancy is 42nd globally. This appears to be his reasoning for targeting the CEO, Brian Thompson. United Healthcare is the largest private insurer in the U.S. He was denied bail. It goes on to basically read like of the whole manifesto. I don't want to read the whole thing outright, just because, well, I mean, maybe we should read. Well,
it's so short.
It's really short. Right. And I want to stress this. Normally, I don't want to be like, look at what he said. But I actually think we should read it because the guy's so dangerously stupid. He should be mocked, and anybody who supports him should be laughed at. So he says, to the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly I wasn't working with anyone. It was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists. That's the ultimate gist of it. He says his tech is pretty much locked down, blah, blah, blah. He goes on to say the U.S. is the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42nd in life expectancy. Now, I want to pause there and just say that right there is where you're like, wow, he's really dumb. Those things don't correlate, okay? The issue with our life expectancy has a lot to do with everything RFK Jr. has been saying. When you go to a Chinese food restaurant, this is one example, okay? And you say, I would like Chinese food. Actually, how many of you guys watch Tulsa King? You watch Tulsa King? So you know that scene where Ming, I think his name was, he's like, I came here as a young child. He's Chinese. And he goes, I work in a Chinese food restaurant. I don't recognize it. Yeah. Deep fried chicken balls soaked in sugar syrup. This is what people eat on a regular basis. So the problem he's seeing is that America has a sick culture with mass-produced garbage food and chemicals, and then he blames our healthcare industry on it. Perhaps the reason the healthcare industry is so expensive because Americans are morbidly obese, sick, don't exercise, and eat garbage. So he doesn't understand. And from that lack of understanding, because he's a really dumb guy, he killed somebody. Here's my favorite part. He says, but many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal and Moore, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Let me read the sentence before. He says, obviously the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument.
He's honest there, I guess.
So this is just, it sounds like the story of a dude who left his parents' house. They say he's Ivy League, he's valedictorian. I'm like, yeah, he's institutionalized. He spent all of his years in institutionalized learning facilities, got out, allegedly did a bunch of psychoactive drugs, and then said, you know what, I can't actually make the argument. I don't know, but someone has to do something. And then kills a random guy unrelated to whatever his problem is.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of talk about his back issues. So he got a back injury. He's alleged to have had a back injury, and
reportedly had it his whole life. It's a disorder where his lower spine was misaligned, causing a slipped disc.
Okay.
That's what they're reporting. And then the back injury story was that he was at a surf retreat, and after wiping out, it exacerbated this existing condition, leaving him bedridden for a week.
But so the
what's the grievance though?
Exactly. The obvious logic, right, that you would think the back injury leads to him being unable to enjoy life. I heard that he can't go out with girls. He can't perform sexually. It's too painful for him to try and have intercourse. So he blames the health insurance company for a chronic back injury. And also the guy comes from means. He went to an extremely expensive school. Why is paying for, care such a problem?
That was it. He was an incel. And he literally was. Because of his lower back issue, he couldn't, I guess, and look, this is what the reports are saying, and it's a bunch of, hey, I know this guy, here's what happened. According to like Reddit posts and what they think in media, and these are rumors, maybe they're not true, according to roommates, his hips and lower back, he had a difficult time moving them without nerve pain. Anybody who's ever pinched a nerve knows you ain't moving if you've got a pinched nerve. And so because of this, apparently some guy said that he had talked to him directly. They were at a surf retreat. And Mangione said he was unable to be intimate with women because of the spinal issue.
That's the literal definition of incel.
Involuntary celibate.
Without any, like a lot of people sitting in their house eating too much pizza with zits and like, I can't get a woman. That's not really involuntary. That's you making choices that lead you to a place where they're not interested in you. But this guy literally, apparently could not perform.
It seems like the underlying issue here is some great degree of mental illness, maybe exacerbated by, I know you mentioned psychedelics, but I just wonder too, what all was he taking either officially or unofficially for this back pain? And it just seems like a muddled mind.
So he had a book list of some sort. I forget what I think it's a
Goodreads,
app.
right?
Goodreads, yeah. And there was a bunch of books about psilocybin and other hallucinogens or psychoactive drugs or whatever,
right.
Which doesn't, that's not a good thing if you're depressed, which it's, again, this is all alleged to be, but if he's depressed because he has chronic massive back pain that inhibits that has degraded his quality of life considerably, taking, psilocybin or taking magic mushrooms probably isn't a great idea. But even still, it to me, I'm still missing what the actual motivation to kill a health insurance, CEO is.
He read threads on Reddit. I'm not being funny. Like he read half-brained crackhead arguments on Reddit where he literally says, we have the most expensive healthcare, but we are 42nd in life expectancy. And it's like, listen. Healthcare and life expectancy aren't necessarily the same thing. Getting a broken bone set isn't necessarily going to correlate directly to longevity, but he's not smart enough to understand that. Well, so he's reading stupid garbage on the internet,
Right.
This is okay. Look, this is akin to saying, leftists do this all the time. Did you know there are more empty homes than homeless people? Duh. And then the response in their minds is, we could literally put a homeless person in an empty house. Problem solved. And it's just like, you know what happens if you put a homeless person in an empty house? Hey, Jordan Neely was given housing. Did you know that? After Jordan Neely got arrested the 50th time or whatever it was, after the arrest for punching the 67-year-old woman in the face, reportedly, he got treatment and housing. And 2 weeks later, he skipped and left. Mm-hmm. So you can't just put them in houses. But this is what they do. They can't actually look at causation. They can't look at nuance. He just read something dumb on the internet and then decided to end someone's life.
And like if he was tripping, we were kind of talking before the show about if psychedelics are good or bad, just drugs in general and the whole conversation. Like you were saying, Phil, they're an enhancer. And from my experience, psychoactives enhance your mood. If your mood is terrible, they make it more terrible. And if it's good, they make it more good. So if this guy's seriously depressed and taking psychedelics, I can see him making crazy unattached associations and just out of anger and like grabbing at stupid
Yeah, it's
reasons.
like a disordered mind. It's like, it reminds me of, in A Beautiful Mind or something, and you go in there and there's all this stuff on the wall. I don't know if we can read too much into this, but I do think, though, that the symbolism that it's taken on in our culture is interesting. And obviously, it's completely messed up that people are lionizing him as a hero. But I do think it points to an underlying frustration that a lot of people have with our healthcare system and how screwed up it is.
Yeah, but this is something that I talked about I mentioned last night. Like the frustration with our healthcare system is actually a frustration with the government and with the way that our healthcare is structured. More than, well, the system, yes, but it's not the companies that are at fault. Why should your health insurance or why should your health care be attached to a job? Why can't you go to a doctor and say, hey, I don't have a job that I don't have my health insurance or health insurance through a job. I just want to go ahead and pay you for this because I want this service provided. You can't really do that. Because prices are not attached to the purchaser doesn't actually see the prices because of the way that healthcare is. So it convolutes the market, and you don't have the same kind of competition that you do in other markets. And so this is a complex topic that's actually fairly nuanced when it comes down to it. But because the left is still kind of ascendant when it comes to narrative building, the left has convinced simple people that it's a simple idea. Healthcare is desirable and good, and because there are people that make profit off of healthcare or in any way, they're the evil ones when someone dies because they don't get the healthcare. And it's not that simple. And to say that it's that simple, it causes people that are, like Tim says, dumb to do things that are aggressive and acting out and violent, and it's just a bad deal. Anytime you allow the left to build the narrative around anything, it works in a very simple way. The people that don't get what they want are the oppressed. The people that have power are the oppressors, and the people that don't get what they want have the right to kill or steal from the people that do. That's it. It's the simple equation.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.